Good day. My name is John Navira. I'm a qualified banking practitioner and a researcher. We are continuing our journey to look at money and what money is and how money can aid us in developing ourselves. We are going to look at Haiti. And we're looking at Haiti because the last time we're looking at Liberia. And we're saying, well, Haiti has almost 200 years of independence. What do they have to show for it? Is a 22 billion economy after 200 years reasonable compared to an 18 trillion economy, which is the United States of America? Is it really reasonable? What went wrong? Why are we not seeing the level of development that we see in America? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at it, and then we're going to look at in a separate video. We're going to draw lessons from these two countries and see how we can help ourselves to develop. So let's start with the history of Haiti. Well, firstly, the background is that Haiti is prone to natural disasters, earthquakes, and weather-related disasters like hurricanes and tornadoes. If we look back in the misty time since recorded history, we find that there were 3 earthquakes between 1751 and 1860, 2 of which devastated Port-au-Prince. Now we know that there are other countries that also experience earthquakes like Japan, but they've managed to work their way around it by introducing building codes such that the buildings themselves are resistant to earthquakes. Haiti is located close to the intersection of 2 tectonic plates that constitute the Earth's crust. Earthquakes are triggered when those plates move against each other. Haiti is densely populated with 11 million people. Its housing infrastructure can withstand strong winds but are vulnerable to earthquakes. Hurricane Matthew in 2016 left a wake of destruction. In 2010, an earthquake killed 300,000 dead according to government, and more recently there was another earthquake. It is possible to construct earthquake-resistant buildings we mentioned previously, but this remains a challenge in Haiti, once one of the richest nations in the Western Hemisphere, which is today the poorest nation. Although technical know-how is available to construct earthquake-resistant buildings, the issue is the lack of funding and coordination. Please note that lack of funding and coordination. The government is weak or missing in action. The impact of disasters are magnified due to a lack of city planning, poor substandard infrastructure and housing, massive coastal populations, and extreme dependence on subsistence farming. Political instability has fueled economic collapse. Each successive government has been characterized by corruption that drained the nation's treasury, rampant human rights abuses, epidemics, and aid mismanagement has resulted in donor fatigue. So we can see that is the scenario. Ever since independence, there's been one coup after another. None of the governments has been stable in Haiti. In 1825, the French monarch Charles X demanded that Haiti pay 150 million gold francs as tribute for defeating the 20,000-man strong French army and for compensation for properties appropriated at independence. The debt was 10 times the nation's annual revenue. The original debt was reduced eventually to 90 million gold francs, about euro 22 billion currently, and they completed paying it off in 1947. Thus, it took 122 years to pay off the debt. To all intents and purposes, the debt was patently illegitimate and illegal. Such luminaries like Noam Chomsky rose up together with others to appeal to the French government to give back the money to Haiti so that they can rebuild their country. The slaves revolted in 1791, and in 1804, after defeating Napoleon's forces, they established the world's first independent African republic. In 2004, a valiant attempt was made because France supported the overthrow of the government. Once the wealthiest colony in the Americas, Haiti has a litany of ills: high illiteracy, corruption, and inadequate infrastructure. In fact, the powers at the time, the British Navy were encircling the island, putting an embargo. The Americans also put an embargo, and the French also put an embargo. The Bank of the Republic of Haiti was founded in 1880, was a well-established institution dedicated to economic management and issuance of the currency. It was a commercial bank that began to act as a central bank in 1934. It also performed the functions of development finance institutions. Furthermore, it managed the port of Prince Wharf, so it had a lot of responsibilities. So you can see too much concentration of power in one institution. Haiti uses more traditional cultivation methods than any other country. There is no modern equipment. Small farmers also lack timely access to credit. So that is a major issue that keeps the Haitians wedded to poverty and inequality. During the course of their economic history, Haiti established extractive political and economic institutions. Assembleau and Robinson, in the book Why Nations Fail, aver that extractive institutions are those which a minority group of individuals exploit the vast population, thereby hindering their ability to control their environment. Rather, they should have established inclusive institutions to avoid the trap of limited growth. For instance, there are no utilities. There are no utilities, not even for water. And also the other issue is the separation of Haiti from the Dominican Republic. Initially, these two countries joined together and became one nation. War commenced in 1844, leading to Dominican independence in 1855. This effectively resulted in separation and isolation, which denied the people a unified platform for trading and economic growth and development. Several natural disasters also caused failure. Both countries produce the same crops, but in terms of economic growth, they are far apart. The Dominican Republic ranks 70th in the world in GDP per capita, whereas Haiti is 178th. In terms of life expectancy, Haiti ranks 146th, while Dominican Republic ranks 88th. So these are the four causes of failure identified by Matthew Cobb. To grow, Haiti simply needs to do the opposite of what they've been doing. That is, set up inclusive institutions that recognize proper individual property rights, set up institutions with that manage utilities, that there's public goods in the republic, enhance technology, develop and integrate within society, industrialize, mechanize agriculture, improve water availability at reasonable costs. This is what setting up a utility would do. Also, they need to start educating the people in terms of vocational training, etc. And they also need to make sure that there are incentives for innovative behavior, because innovation is critical. They need to have a market, and the market can only come about through innovative behavior. So on that point, I will close off now. If you find the video useful, like it and subscribe. I'll be back with the wrap-up so that we can see what lessons we can draw from what we've seen of Liberia and Haiti, the common threads running through all of this. Thank you.